Right now on Eyewitness News Morning, Wilcox County was hit hard last night. We're live in Rochelle with a closer look at all the damage.
Plus, that damage is widespread across the county. One family lost everything in the storms. What they're doing next and how they escaped ahead at 6:33.
Well, after several rounds of destructive storms passed through the area this weekend, we are left with a few showers and windy weather for today. Coming up, I'll talk about how windy it gets this afternoon.
What looks like the old nuclear test films when you see a building just get obliterated and fly one direction.
And a Central Georgia woman is alive this morning after the storm flipped her mobile home with her still inside of it. Her neighbors saw the whole thing, what they saw and how they helped at 6:36. Plus, Albany is working to pick up the pieces this morning after being hit by a large tornado. Our Suzanne Lawler will join us live at 6:06 with a look at the damage they're seeing this morning. Those stories and more. Eyewitness News Morning starts right now. Good Monday morning. You're taking a look right now over Warner Robins at 6:30 on this January 23rd. I'm Caitlin Heck. Thankfully, after a very busy and devastating weekend, Pat, a much calmer forecast today.
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, everybody. As Caitlin had just mentioned, we had a very busy weekend here, especially across our southern counties. And as you went into South Georgia, we'll have some live reports coming in from Wilcox County and Albany.
Right now, we do have several school closings to tell you about due to severe weather damage across Central Georgia. Telfair, Wheeler, and Crisp County schools are all closed this morning because of hazardous road conditions. However, administration and staff does still need to come in at 10 a.m. Now, Crisp County private schools are closed for both staff and students this morning. Fullington Academy in Pinehurst is also closed today for staff and students. Last night, Crisp County Sheriff Billy Hancock issued a mandatory curfew for everyone. Sheriff Hancock said everyone had to be off the roads by 8 last night so emergency crews could get out to the damaged areas. And this weekend, severe storms left damage all across the area. One of the hardest hit areas from the storm right now is Wilcox County, where last night emergency crews were out trying to get down power lines off of roads, trees off of houses, and out of the roadways. Our morning reporter Yvonne Thomas is live in Rochelle to give us a better look at how they're recovering today. Yvonne?
Caitlin, this area got hit very hard last night by all of the storms that passed through Central Georgia. You know, our thoughts and prayers are with those families as they recover and assess the damage today and earlier this morning. Now, take a live look at all of this damage that we see here. There's lots of trees that are falling. We've been talking about it all morning. Branches are down, and there's even a tractor trailer truck that's right behind me that's overturned and was flipped over by the power of that storm last night. Now, we spoke with EMA Director Larry Brown, and he told us last night that so far 5 homes they knew of were destroyed and that families were recovering from that as we speak. Now, at this moment, we don't know if that number has increased or not yet. Crews have not been out to assess any more of the damage that's coming this morning. Now, Brown also said that at that time, there were no injuries reported. We'll be checking on that too to make sure that everyone was safe and uninjured throughout this storm. Of course, we'll be sure to keep you updated as we assess more damage throughout the area. For now, reporting live in Rochelle, Yvonne Thomas, 13 WMAZ, Eyewitness News.
All right, thank you, Yvonne. And for anyone who still needs a place to stay, there are several shelters that opened up last night. That's at City Hall in Rochelle, Ferguson Funeral Home, and the Wilcox County Courthouse in Abbeville. And this morning, a Wilcox County family is left picking up the pieces after yesterday's storms ripped through their streets. They say they lost everything in the storms. Our Cassandra Ortiz spoke to the family about how they managed to escape and what they'll do next.
Just a few hours after that storm damage started to roll in, Wilcox County crews began making the rounds to fix homes. Like this one in Rochelle on American Legion Road that had its roof blown off, as well as a downed tree and a turnover semi next door.
It's a big disaster, ain't it?
Meanwhile, just down the road in Abbeville,
To the front of the house, sitting right there. Just ripped all that out. Right there. See the kitchen right there?
a family is left with just the clothes on their backs after a tornado came down Mount Olive Road, taking out all 3 homes.
I got the phone call from my brother, and he told us we lost everything. And that's when I rushed home. And I parked by the railroad track, and I was just devastated. And I was crying.
It's now a flat piece of land where his home used to be, but his father, Joe Hill, says he's glad his daughter and grandchildren were able to escape, even after the tornado picked up a car and threw it into their home.
Next thing she heard a boom, 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 boom. She couldn't see nothing. They got together and drug out the back window. All of them came out the back door back there.
The family out here on Mount Olive Road says they've been living out here for decades and never experienced anything like this. But they say now they need some help from their community to rebuild.
We're homeless now, and we need some help from in and everybody.
That's what we need for the community to get together as one, because we never know what might happen.
Because they say what may be here today may be gone tomorrow. In Wilcox County, Cassandra Ortiz, 13 WMAZ, Eyewitness News.
Now, the family says it was hard to see what they had worked so hard for thrown all over the streets. They say after their daughter and grandchildren escaped through the back door, they ran out onto the main road where police picked them up and thankfully took them to a safe location. Over in Washington County, a woman also lost everything when Saturday's storms ripped through the neighborhood she lives in. According to her neighbors, the storm destroyed her home while she was still inside of it. Hylas Barrett lives across from the woman at Rolling Acres Estates Mobile Homes. That's on Highway 68 in Washington County. Barrett says he was the first person on the scene and saw the woman stand up from inside the rubble. Barrett says Saturday around 2 o'clock, he watched from his porch as the woman's house was picked up by the wind and flipped 2 or 3 times. Barrett says the damage happened in just a matter of seconds. Thankfully, he was able to help the woman and brought her inside his home to safety.
It was a movie. It was a disaster movie. I was told people it looks like the old nuclear test films when you see a building just get obliterated and fly one direction. And that's pretty much what it looked like. This took all of maybe a second and a half.
Now, we just spoke to the woman's daughter, Ija Wilcox, who says they've set up a GoFundMe for her mother. You can find it and her information at gofundme.com/Angela Tornado. Now, as we continue to cover the damage the severe storms left all across the state, one of the areas hit the hardest is Albany. According to our Atlanta station, a large wedge-shaped tornado struck the town yesterday afternoon, and as of this morning, emergency officials are saying at least 15 people are dead following the storm that ripped through southwest Georgia. This morning, our Suzanne Lawler is live in Albany with a look at the devastation there. Suzanne?
The damage here is phenomenal, and I kind of think that it's really hard to portray how amazing it looks. A couple of people just walked by and said it looks like a movie set, so I want to give you some perspective here. I just picked up this piece of metal. If you can imagine during this tornado emergency, that flying through the ground. This piece of metal right here, yeah, it's about as big as I am. It's really not that heavy, but look at this. This is crinkled up like a Kleenex. In this car, figure maybe they pulled into what we assume was a convenience store. The windows are blown out. I mean, hard to imagine folks going through this. And this isn't the first situation Albany has gone through. They had another significant tornado that hit on January 2nd. There was even a hashtag, Pray for Albany. What's going on right now? Well, this is a staging area per se, where all kinds of national media have come in and will be reporting on Albany today. Now, we did check in with law enforcement. They're continuing search and rescue efforts. A lot of roads are shut down in this area. This area is still very much hurting today. We'll be here throughout the morning. Reporting in Albany, Suzanne Lawler, 13 WMAZ, Eyewitness News.
All right, thank you, Suzanne. And we are going to check back with her throughout the morning with another look at the damage left behind. In other news this morning, Bibb County deputies are looking for the person who shot a man multiple times at his apartment last night. Deputies got the call to the Hidden Lake Apartments around 6 o'clock, and that's where they say they found Vernon Schultz Sr. lying unresponsive inside the apartment with multiple gunshot wounds. The 43-year-old lived there with his wife, Tanita Schultz, who investigators say was there when they arrived.
We have a crime lab here, a detective, and we are making sure that we thoroughly investigate it. But it is just an unfortunate incident that this domestic situation has ended with a death.
Deputies say this is the first homicide in Bibb County for 2017. Deputies are still investigating, and anyone with information is asked to call the sheriff's office. That phone number is 478-751-7500. Again, that number 478-751-7500. Let's check back in with Pat now. He has another look at your forecast.